watching the game, Stephen A. Smith, what was your takeaway?
Similar to the take that I had yesterday, that Portland is a legitimate threat in the Western Conference. They're a legitimate threat, period, because the Eastern Conference is virtually non-existent. When we look at the West, what you have to remember is that clearly you have to have talent, but it also has to be talent with size. And you have to have the ability to defend. Whether it's Wesley Matthews Jr., whether it's Batum, whether it's LaMarcus Aldridge, even the acquisition of a Robin Lopez, with this second-year kid, Damian Lillard, who is special, by the way, Damian Lillard. I mean, this guy can play. You look at the parts that they have around him. They have youth, they have energy, they have length, they have size, they defend. Let's give Coach Terry Stott some credit. Learning under the tutelage of numerous coaches, particularly Rick Carlisle, he's doing a fantastic job thus far. They can hit perimeter shots as well. And they have a go-to player, if not two. They got guys that you could give the ball to and say, take me to the promised land. So when you look at the rest of the Western Conference, San Antonio is obviously more experienced, but not as youthful and not as fresh. You don't know where their legs will be in the postseason. Oklahoma City is as youthful, clearly with two superstars as far as I'm concerned, but do they have Portland's depth? You look at the Clippers, they're struggling defensively, they struggle with free throws, okay? And you look at the Memphis and the Golden States of the world, if Golden State, they get everything rides on their perimeter shooting. They're the best in the game at it, but that's what it rides on. And in the Eastern Conference, you look at Miami, their Achilles heel is size. They still overcome it with LeBron and the experience and just this superstar status, but it is challenging. So all of that to be said, I'm not saying that the Portland Trailblazers are going to win the world title this year, but I'm telling you, with the team they have assembled, they can pose a threat to anybody. They can beat anybody on any given night. I could easily see them in the semifinals or the conference finals. I think they're better than Houston as far as I'm concerned. And oh, by the way, they are just a piece away from winning it all. A piece away from winning it all. They've got those kind of troops.
So I have a couple of takes from last night, and I appreciate yours. First of all, I learned once again that in Portland, Portland is lethal in the second half. They outscored the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in the second half 63-45. Think about that, 63 points in the second half. I think Oklahoma City is really good. For a while, there have been a couple of weeks back that I thought they were the best team in the West, and they may still prove to be. Last night, they started chanting in Portland MVP for LaMarcus Aldridge. We had him on our show back at the All-Star game last year, and that team was up and down at that point. But when he goes, Stephen A., for 38 and 13 against the Thunder, wow, maybe we should at least put him in the MVP conversation. Now, I'm going to remind you that with all those pieces you talked about, they did not have Robin Lopez last year. They didn't have Mo Williams last year. You realize these same pieces to the puzzle lost their last 13 games last year and had losing streaks of 6 and 7 games during the year. They had one right around the All-Star break that we asked LaMarcus about. So I don't know. I'm not sold on them. They've already lost twice to Phoenix this year. I'm not sure yet that they're a legit contender.
Well,
go ahead.
What I'm asking you to pay attention to, Skip, is that you're right if I'm sitting here trying to say they can win the title. I'm not saying that they're going to win the championship. But I think before you get to that point, legitimacy comes in when you say, does this particular team have the potential to get in the way of one of the favorites? And I'm telling you, we said at the beginning of the year, San Antonio, OKC, the Clippers, Houston, Golden State, Memphis, and I'm saying Memphis, Golden State, and Houston, we now find ourselves looking at Portland and saying those dudes may take a backseat to Portland and maybe even the Clippers, which elevates Portland to top 3 or 4, which gives them one of the top seeds in the Western Conference.
Okay.
That makes them legit.
Now, quick take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, my beloved Thunder. Last night, before last night's game, I should say, Kevin Durant talked again about how sick and tired he gets of being called the second best player in pro basketball, obviously to LeBron James, and that he wants to remedy that. And then we just saw the video to start this topic. I don't know what Kevin was thinking at the end. He just lost it for a second, lost focus. Here we go again. and Batum just runs away. I don't know what he's doing. Batum runs and goes off the screen and hits the big three to put them up 4 points, 108 to 104. And Kevin Durant comes right back down the court and has a pretty good look at a three to cut it back to 1, and he missed that shot. And Stephen A., I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, because I've been watching a lot of the Thunder this year. There's a highly placed, highly respected NBA source, at least that I respect highly, who's been telling me now for 2 years, I'm missing the boat in Oklahoma City. That the real leader, the difference maker on that team is not Kevin Durant. It's the other guy. It's the guy I've been calling Batman. The guy I've said is a little knuckleheaded as a point guard, Russell Westbrook. He's been explosive coming off his knee surgery. He took over that game against Golden State, last Saturday night, just took my breath away with the play he made to win that game in overtime. And here we go again. We saw how small Kevin Durant came up against Memphis in the playoffs, 4 straight games that they lost with no Batman, who may be, no Robin, who may really be Batman.
Right.
Russell Westbrook.